Greetings and salutations, my lovely little Bytelings. My name is Wiggy, and today I'll be going over the best MMOs currently playable right now as of 2017. Do note, I will not be listing these MMOs in any specific numbered order, and therefore the last MMO listed is by no means the best of them all. Now that's out the way, let's get into this list, shall we? HearthStone is literally Blizzard's largest MMO to date, surpassing both Overwatch and World of Warcraft in sheer magnitude, which is insane considering the kind of MMO Hearthstone is, a free-to-play, collectible card game. Yes, a card game, that's it. The MMO that has literally taken the entire world by storm is in fact a card game. I know, I'm still attempting to wrap my head around it as well, strangely enough. It's not even that I don't like the game, that's not the problem at all. Hearthstone is actually decently entertaining. But for an MMO of this size, this popularity, you'd expect it to be groundbreaking. The main goal of the game is simply to get the HP of the enemy player down to 0. Funny enough, every character in Hearthstone is a character used in the official World of Warcraft game. Hearthstone also features multiple different modes of play. Standard play, the normal mode, most players use to verse each other or other AI opponents in casual matches or against players, specifically in ranked matches. Solo Adventure, a game mode that allows you to complete specific challenges against AI opponents. Solo Adventures that allows you to complete specific challenges against AI opponents only, often with unique conditions, cards, or powers to earn cards. Arena Mode, this mode gives you the ability to draft your own deck from scratch, choosing from 3 random cards each, until you reach 30 cards in total. Tavern Brawls. Tavern Brawls are challenges that are offered weekly to players, rewarding players with unique heroes, cards. Now, why is Hearthstone here? Because I think it's worthy of being listed. It's a new kind of MMO that is actually well executed. Kudos to Blizzard for making such a good MMO. So League of Legends was released in 2009 and uses the same format as Dota 2, with 2 teams filled with champions fighting against each other to destroy the enemy team's base, or in this case, Nexus, whilst killing any champions in the way, of course. League of Legends, or as the majority of players/user base call it, LOL, has become one of the most popular MMOs in the NA and EU market, having around 67 million players, playing it each month, and around 27 million per day, with 7 million players concurrently during its peak hours. These were statistics for LoL back in 2014. It's only grown even more popular since then, so no doubt the numbers are a lot higher now. Now the matches, as I did state earlier, are similar to Dota 2, but of course this goes for the large majority of MOBA-type MMOs, as they follow along the same formula, just like the majority of MMORPGs are similar. LoL, although similar, does things quite different, as there are game modes. To start off, you've got your classic maps, Fields of Justice and Summoner's Rift, which are both 3-laned maps. Then you've got Twisted Treeline as a smaller type map, with only 2 lanes. And instead of having 5 champions versus another 5 champions, it's a 3v3 match. Then you've got other game modes like Ascension, Legend of the Poro King, Nexus Siege, and many, many more. So it's safe to say it definitely deserves to be here on this list, as it's very popular, active, and don't get me started on how addictive it can be once you get started. Another Blizzard-made MMO, however, unlike Overwatch, it's an MMORPG, which you probably already know since it's been around since 2004 and is one of the most talked about, loved, and complained about MMORPGs. World of Warcraft, or as everyone calls it, WoW. WoW has had a lot of changes since its initial release, which makes sense as an MMORPG that doesn't change with the times ends up dying. However, it changing is generally where a lot of negativity regarding WoW actually stems from, because change can potentially ruin your favorite classes, completely mess up PvP content with unbalanced classes, like one being more overpowered and another being underpowered. This is the same for PvE content as well, however. with your favorite classes being nerfed, making you perform subpar in PvE related content, and therefore not required for harder raids like mythic raids. Now, this isn't really an issue with WoW itself, as it is with raid leaders or players. As Blizzard is constantly buffing and nerfing classes, it's too hard to keep track of what's good and what's bad each month, so you can pretty much play whatever class you enjoy and have fun watching Flavor of the Month players struggle along the way. In WoW, the max level so far is 110, which I know is a lot of levels, and to be honest, it can be difficult for new players who hadn't played this game before to be intimidated, or generally find early levels boring, as well it can be, if I'm being honest, as early level content is outdated in comparison to Legion content. But if you can sit through some of the boring levels, then WoW is a fantastic MMORPG. It has a massive world to explore, filled with content, and it has a huge selection of dungeons for most levels, and raids as you go through more content. There is of course world flying, 5 whole continents, which are Kalimdor, Eastern Kingdoms, Pandaria, Northrend, and of course the newest added island, Broken Isles. That's not including the planet of Draenor and the Outlands. Now, I briefly mentioned the general complaints regarding WoW, and they are valid as it can be very annoying getting your character nerfed. However, generally, WoW is considered also by a large majority of people as having a somewhat toxic community. And to answer this question, being a longtime WoW player myself, it can be depending on your server or in what setting we're talking about, as I found that players in WoW are more toxic in regards to PvP, whereas I've seen more friendlier players enjoying PvE content. However, it's not as toxic as people publicize it is, or at least not in my experience, and that of the people I know. Take that as you will. Now, World of Warcraft has 12 classes, some of which are race-locked. However, both factions have all classes. I don't feel like I need to go into much detail regarding the classes, as I feel most people generally know what they are, so I'll leave this section simple. As most MMORPGs, WoW has dungeons, which can be set on varied difficulties. The same goes for raids. For instance, Naxxramas 10-man normal or Naxxramas 25-man heroic, or in later raids, even a mythic difficulty. Difficulty isn't the only thing that changes, however, as the general mechanics of said raids can change, aka a boss uses different skills or more skills. These difficulties will also give you better rewards, however, so it's definitely worth the effort. Generally, the reason WoW is still such a popular MMORPG that's still going after all of these years and after all of these changes from its original state is because it's a pretty fantastic MMORPG. It definitely has flaws, like, oh my god, so many flaws. However, the negative doesn't outweigh the positive, in my opinion. And this is why you'll find WoW in so many top lists, just like this one. So, as you can no doubt tell from the video footage, it's in fact a first-person shooter MOBA type MMO. In Overwatch, you pick between 25 differing heroes. Granted, there were originally, at release, around 22 heroes. Said heroes fall under specific categories. For instance, there are DPS heroes, defense heroes, tanks, and support heroes. The game functions as follows. Once a match starts, whether we're talking quick play or other modes, you choose your hero. However, only one person per team can be said hero, so there won't be 3 mercy characters flying around. Once everyone's chosen their hero, you must complete the game's objective, which can be the following: escorting a vehicle to the end of the map while the enemy team tries to stop you, or capture a specific location objective. Then of course there's capture a flag mission, which by its name explains it. You are required to capture the enemy team's flag and return it to your base, and vice versa for the enemy team. And then there is 6v6 elimination, 3v3 elimination, and 1v1 elimination. Another game mode is mystery hero matches, which, after your first death, will randomly choose any of the heroes and make you play that until your next death. So, as I stated earlier, the heroes fall under said categories like DPS heroes. These DPS heroes function to harass or generally attack and kill enemy players, with ultimate abilities designed for large amounts of damage on the enemy team. There are in total 8 DPS heroes, as Doomfist was just newly added to the roster of heroes. Then we've got your atypical tanking heroes, which you can probably already guess has high HP pools, and well, tanks for the team, although they are by no means weak. Then of course we've got the defense heroes, which have skills and ultimate abilities that are designed to help out the team. For instance, Hanzo, one of the characters in the game, has a skill that allows you to see enemies through walls. Torbjorn can place down strategically placed turrets and armor items for his team members. They each have something that helps the team out, whilst being able to help attack, of course. And lastly, in terms of hero types, we've got support heroes, which is again pretty self-explanatory. They are generally the healers of the game, some of them being more annoying, like Symmetra. Overwatch is constantly being updated in patches, and a lot of care goes into this MMO, as there has been at least 4 new heroes added since its initial release, with new modes, varied costumes for said heroes, and even whole new maps added. Overwatch is a very fun and very popular MMO, and thus the reason it's on this list. It definitely deserves to be here. This and League of Legends were the first MOBAs, and basically started the whole genre, which all started from a group of people that made a mod for Warcraft 3 called Defense of the Ancients, aka Dota. Of course, Dota 2 is no mere mod anymore. It is its own game, and a very successful one at that. The matches consist of 2 teams of 5 players versing each other, with the objective to destroy the other team's main base. However, before you do that, you'll need to destroy the towers along the way, and any enemy hero character that's also in the way. Each and every hero has their own unique abilities and playstyles. And as you continue to play through your match, your hero levels up, which allows you to upgrade your skills, which of course is very important to the game, as the lower level you are, the weaker you are in essence, which I guess is an obvious statement. You also gather items during your match that can also benefit you. Do note, for those of you completely new to the MOBA genre, the levels you gain during these matches do not continue to the next match. So there are 113 playable characters in Dota 2, or as a large majority of people call them, heroes. These heroes are categorized into specific types or roles, if you will. There are 9 types of heroes and 5 less official types. The official hero roles are Disabler, Initiator, Junglers, Support, Durable, Nukers, Pushers, Escape Heroes, and Carry Heroes. These hero roles are based around the actual stats of said heroes and what their abilities can do. Granted, no hero is necessarily locked to a specific type, as you can buy items / spec into different skills. However, some heroes just fit into roles a bit easier, and therefore are more used in specific categories. Now, no doubt the majority of people already know all of this, as it's one of the most active and popular MMOs ever. However, Dota 2 isn't exactly what you would call a casual-friendly MMO, as a lot of people take it very seriously, and the players are very competitive, for good reason of course, because if you're good enough, you can enter their tournaments, which can have prizes up to millions of dollars for winning. So I understand the competitive mindset of said Dota 2 players. However, it's often intimidating for new players to get into Dota 2 because of this. Generally, Dota 2 is a complicated MOBA. It's not just a simple PvP game where you run down the lanes, waving your hands around, screaming, and just expecting players to die. Dota 2 takes practice and dedication. Because of this, it's highly enjoyable and addictive once you actually get into it, which is why it's just so popular and the reason it's on this list. So guys, this is my list for the best MMOs currently playable right now as of 2017. I do hope you guys enjoyed this list. However, if you disagree with some of the games that I mentioned, please do feel free to leave a comment explaining what you think should be here. Either way, thank you for watching, and as always, good day, night, or afternoon, wherever it is where you are, and I will see you guys in the next video.
We fell out of love like shooting stars came crashing down.